Welcome back to The Ether, the show that disrupts the way you think about running your business. Join me, Brandon, and my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator of What If, on today's episode. Our goal is to provide context around what we talk about so you have the clarity to cut through the noise and the confidence to grow and run a truly harmonious business. Let's jump in and take the next step to achieving business freedom. Welcome to The Ether. Sean, how much do you love/hate my virtual background? I feel naked today. I don't have my studio.
It's one of those things where I hate it so much that I'm finding enjoyment in it. It's like, oh, this hatred is welling up inside of me for it. I also was laughing. I also am laughing. It makes me laugh every time, the intro, when you say, oh, you know what? I hate the non-hated version now. I hate that worse.
You hate this one worse?
I hate that one worse now.
All right. Well, let's see what else we have.
Because it's still distracting.
It might be distracting. I have bricks.
And
do you like bricks? I have a beautiful living room.
Oh.
Do you like my piano?
How often do you play it?
Almost every day. I just bought it. It was $612,000.
That's excellent. It sounds like money well spent if you play it every day. And hey, do what you love. The money will follow. I hate vanity pieces of musical equipment. It's like, oh, that's a nice guitar. Have you ever played it? Oh, nobody plays it. Oh, why is it?
No, vanity anything. Take it a step further. Vanity anything. Those big 4-foot vases that nobody knows where they're from. Some Ethiopian looking, ancient vase. Why do you need that?
If it's more than, no, you're not pronouncing it correctly. If it's
a vase.
If it's more than 6 feet or $6,000, it becomes a vase.
Vase. Okay. It's like a niche or a
niche. Niche or a niche. Yeah.
Well, hey, let's dive in. We're going to talk about a niche today. We just got back from an incredible event in Seattle over on the left coast. Shout out to our left coast brothers and sisters. Our friends over at Human Op are on the left coast. We shouted them out last week. But no, we had a fantastic time in Seattle. And the group we were with was The Final Percent. We will link to them down below because if you have never heard of them, I think you should. Greg Kimball, shout out to you, my brother, for putting Sean, wherever Sean is, on your stage. You spoke there. We had a good time. we met a lot of people. And what do you have to say about the event before we dive in to this episode?
A couple of things. Well, first, it was everything that they promised it would be.
Rare.
Which was a lot. Which was a lot. The room, I've never, so yes, I was on stage there. And selfishly, I said this to Greg, I've never been handed the reins to a room, a stage, a group that was better prepared for the disruptive message that we were going to bring. It was like, hey, we're going to punch everything you know about business in the face and knock it a little sideways and show you a better way. Good. And everyone's just like, good, let's roll. I'm already taking notes. What are you waiting for? Let's go. They were so ready for it. And there were then so many takeaways for the participants. It was just fantastic. A lot of these rooms talk about themselves as being a family. No, that's an actual family. You know why? There were kids running around. You had to step over toys at times. It truly was a family experience there, which it's not the main point that he hits. It's not the main note, but man, this guy knows how to play that note. So just beautiful stage alignment with everything we're doing. The language even fits together nicely. Just really great group of people. So if you're looking for a mastermind experience that sounds like that, looks like that might be a place you want to go check out.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Like I said, links down below if you want to go check out the Final Percent Network. Really, really great people. And yeah, first time I've ever experienced children running around at an event. But I must say, I was jealous I didn't bring my family there because it was such a family-friendly environment. And it's the first time, we always talk about this. There's no such thing as work-life balance. It's all about integration. And they did a phenomenal job with the integration. It's not, oh, mommy or daddy's going to some event and you have to stay here. No, bring the kids. Like, let them sit in the room. Let them absorb what we're talking about. it was just incredible.
We've been to plenty of masterminds with children. What they mean here is
Those are the
very
ones
young
hosting it,
people.
not those masterminds.
Very young people, not children. Well, children are everywhere. Very young people. All right.
Yes,
cool.
yes. Fair. So one of the presenters, his name was George Bryant. My first encounter with him, actually, I looked this up. This is a fun little, another compliment to George. He was incredible. He spoke about the customer journey and how you can design that process. And he gave us an acronym that we're going to go through and unpack a little bit with the what if spin on it, but more for your employees. But real quick, I looked up George after this event. Yeah. Did you know that he slid into my DMs about 6 months ago and sent me one of the most authentic and really cool messages that I have ever received? And I was like, you know what? George is on brand always. No matter the context where you meet him, he is a real authentic dude. And I just thought that was so cool.
That was like an overarching theme. We had been talking about authenticity here on this show for a little while here, had some podcast stuff about it too. And so everybody there in that room was authentic. You felt it. That's why you feel so comfortable in a room like that, because whether you agree with everyone or not to say that we had any disagreements, but whether you do or not pales by comparison to whether or not you feel like you can trust people or what they're saying to you is actually who they are. Because you could be in a room where everybody says they think exactly like you and then not feel comfortable. Why? Because somebody is playing a different game. They're hiding something. They have some ulterior motives. Not a single person in that room had that. So everybody felt just completely at home, comfortable to be exactly who they were. And George fit well there because exactly that. He's authentic all the time.
Yep, George was George. And if you listened to our episode from, I think it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago about authenticity, everybody in that room was the shit. So they bleed authenticity, which we love. But so let's unpack this real quick. I want to go into what George spoke about. And as a business owner, a business leader, I'm sure you've gone to events, you listening, where you get all jacked up, whether they're personal development events, business events, trade shows, conferences, whatever. You go there, you get excited, you see all this new stuff, you meet great people. And when you come back to your team, your employees, you're on cloud 11 and they did not experience what you experienced. And they're running their regular level, whatever that is. You come back in and you explode like a bomb. And you're like, you're never going to guess what I heard. We're going to do all these amazing things. Yeah. And all they're hearing you say is, we're going to have to work harder. We're going to change a bunch of crap. It's probably not going to stick because you've done this before. You did it 3 weeks ago and we're right back into the same place we were.
I don't get paid to change.
Yeah, nobody likes change.
I know how to do this.
Yes, it's uncomfortable. And so George, what he was talking about, not this exact topic, but he was talking about designing the customer journey. He's a customer journey expert. He's taken brands to hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in revenue through his process. And he shared an acronym with us. He called it the APE sandwich. So it's APPPE, and it stands for acknowledge, prepare, project, pre-handle, and excite. And it was this 5-step process of how you can interact with your customers, design their journey, and really elevate your retention rates, but also increase your customer experience. Make them happier, make them spend more money with you, make them love you more. And as he was talking about it, I thought it was brilliant. You should go check out everything George does in that arena. But I said, are we doing that with our employees? Because our employees are also customers or consumers of our brand. They're just internal consumers of how we operate as leaders. So if we're not taking them through this process, when you go back and you explode in the middle of your culture, you're like, you're never going to guess what I learned. We have to do all of these things. I think you're dropping the ball with your employee journey. And that's why people don't have the buy-in to new projects, new ideas. And when we talk about modify or change management, you start to get pushback on things from your employees. So we at What If, we want to create home. We want to create humans optimized in a meaningful environment. And to do that, I think this is the perfect way to start thinking about the process of modify or change management in your company. So Sean, should we unpack the APE sandwich and how it pertains to
yes,
company?
Yes. Before we do, I'll let you do that in a second, but I just want to hit this as well. So yes, the two places that what you're talking about show up for us in our model is modify, which is change management. So, but we'll start with the first one. So in home, that's our human resources management. My onboarding process at a company that I worked for most of my life, and you can look that up, we won't say names here, was horrendous. It was horrible. From me showing up, nobody from my department was even there because it was like the week before Christmas. And so why have me show up then? I guess because it's downtime and I could get my laptop and stuff. Not if no one I was reporting to was there. There was no one to show me around. I ended up just sitting with somebody's random administrative support person. And they were like, so do you want to see where the cafeteria is? Sure. It was horrible. So I know what it's like to have a terrible onboarding journey, and it's so disruptive because it is dissonant. If you are projecting to the world that you have this great company, this great product, and customers are going to love the experience, and then the people you're bringing in are treated poorly, or at least, or confusing at best, it just automatically has me not buying into that brand and that spirit of camaraderie and the esprit de corps that you're looking to build. So that's one, right? So we know that we need to bring people along that journey, just like we would if they were a client. They're the first client of our brand is a new hire. Okay. So that we don't treat them worse than our clients, which is how typically businesses look at it. Well, you're an employee. I don't have to be polite to you. When I get on that phone to a client, though, they pay for politeness. Okay. That's number one. And then from a modify standpoint, that's our change management module or discipline. Well, it's everybody's. Everybody has to have change management, but this is how we take new things in and don't destroy everything that we're doing downstream. And so new ideas, reaction to change in the marketplace, anything that comes in that makes us have to change a process means that we have to also be thinking about our employee journey through that process, because they are going to be the first stewards of our customers through any changes of our processes. We have to know it best and feel it most and feel how it should feel. Great. So beautiful. So unpack George's brilliant acronym. We know we love acronyms.
We heart acronyms here.
Who doesn't want an ape sandwich now? So
an ape sandwich. We were the shit 2 weeks ago. We're harmonious as a company. Yes. Okay. So we love acronyms, if you couldn't tell. So again, APPPE, 3 P's. That's a lot of PPs. Anyway, acknowledge is the A. If we're not having fun, you're not doing business, right? So acknowledge. This is where when you say you came in and you had that experience with some company that we won't name, and you're just sitting there, that's like buyer's remorse. That's where it's going to set in, right? So from a customer side or from an employee side, when you make that decision to work for a company or buy something from a brand, the first reaction is to have buyer's remorse. If you don't get whatever your expectations are in your head nearly immediately, your buyer's remorse is going to it's a dial. It's going to turn up faster and faster and faster. So when you're sitting there for a week and nobody's in the office, you're saying, is this a real job? Am I being scammed? I'm sure that all of those thoughts are going through your head, right? So the first thing you have to do is acknowledge, say, thank you for being here, whatever that looks like. Thank you for purchasing. Thank you for taking this step. You took a big step. That congratulations, even. In the context of what we're kind of talking about here is when you come back from an event and your team has probably seen you with this excitement before, and it wanes after 2 or 3 weeks because, you go back to life as usual. When you come in and you're just all excited and you start talking about all the new things that are going to take place in your company, you completely nullify their feelings and their input. So by just acknowledging and just simply saying, thank you for managing this company while I was gone, or thank you for the great work you did last week. I heard nothing but rave reviews from our customers, our clients, whatever that might be. You've already kind of leveled the playing field and eased their stress and the tension, because I'm sure, Sean, you've seen this before. When a leader's out of the office, there's that uneasy feeling of like, what's he going to say when he comes back, right? He or she comes back. Or in this scenario, if they've been to another event and they want to come back and blow things up, how much is this going to hurt when they come back? So just a simple acknowledgement goes tremendously far in getting the buy-in from your team.
And it depends on who they left as. If they left as the micromanager, I'm afraid of what they're going to come back and nitpick over. If they left as kind of a disconnected manager, your employees might say, oh, they're back. Okay, so what? And maybe we have to listen to some of their stories. Maybe not, because they're disconnected from us, so they don't really care. And then there are the ones that are change junkies. And those people are bracing because they're like, oh, remember for 2 weeks when we all had to, put our add Himalayan sea salt to our water. Remember that when they came back from that conference and they heard that this was going to help all of us. And now here they come with a new thing. Oh, everybody, we're all going to, every morning we're going to do jumping jacks together for 15 minutes and we're going to sing Kumbaya. Oh, don't worry. She'll go to a conference again in 2 months and we'll all be on to something new. And I'm using silly examples to say that people can do a big disservice going to a new conference to hear a new type of marketing. And then that's going to be the only thing we're going to do until 2 months from now. I go to another marketing conference and learn a new thing, and I'm going to do that. And we're just jamming every new idea into these poor people's lives and saying, well, you'll figure it out. There's a lot of ways it can go wrong. So these conferences amplify the person who has left to go to them because they're going in search of a thing. And if that conference even gives them a whiff of it, they will suck all that in and then jam it into whatever problem they thought they were solving when they went to it in the first place. And if they started up here, you're going to get more goodness. And if they start down here as a leader, you're going to get more of whatever it is that they're putting out. So yes, Brandon, I've seen all of that, and it covers the gamut because these things can be great or harmful depending on what you do with it. So let's acknowledge, here's where we are, acknowledge their participation in it, acknowledge every aspect of everyone whenever you're encountering them. So yes, Brandon, acknowledgement, huge.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I also just I was reminded about the harmonious architecture. Ironic, right? So the other thing I just want to interject here is we operate in quarterly sprints. So even if you go to these conferences or trade shows and you find the next best thing, unless it's in line with one of the projects you're currently working on, one of the 2 to 3 projects you're working on, you shouldn't even touch it. Like, I don't care if you go to an event in the end of July and you really want to do something now. If it's not in line with one of your 3 projects, you don't even think about it until the end of September. Put it somewhere where you can have that and work on it, but don't start blowing up your whole company because you should be operating on this cadence. And that's how you actually make a difference in your company.
It's almost as if the architecture was built as guardrails for those very people that I was describing.
Would you say like bumpers in a bowling alley? I hear bowling is the next best thing in this country.
It's the only thing. Computers are a fad. People won't need them forever, but people will always need to bowl. That is a direct quote from one of my ancestors. So, hey, now let's continue that great advice. No, but it is as if there are bumpers on a bowling alley, as if we were trying to solve for a problem when we built the architecture. I don't know. How about turn off your phone? That's amazing. All right, so go.
I just want to point out, fans and listeners, it's always Sean. It's never me who has the house phone, a landline. I don't even have a landline. Sean's got landlines, cell phones. He's a popular guy. We gotta put guardrails.
I have every mode of communication. We have homing pigeons downstairs. I could send you a note right now if I had to. Everything else went down. I'm ready to live off grid
in the background. Next time we're gonna have chirping pigeons. All right, let's handle the 3 Ps because I think they go together quite nicely. So we have prepare, project, and pre-handle. So real quick, let me give you the overview of this. So prepare is lay out the steps. So we've acknowledged, right? We've said thank you. Congratulations, whatever that looks like. Prepare. I had this idea. What are the next steps? What does this look like? Again, people don't by nature like change. I am one of those weird freaks where I do like change. I could rearrange my room 4 times a day and be perfectly happy. Not a productive way to be, but most people hate change. It eliminates their security. So we want to lay out the steps and paint the picture of what this looks like, which also flows to the next P of project what success looks like. So say, okay, if we follow these steps, if we attack this plan, this is what it will look like. And make sure in this scenario, you're relating it to that person, actually in both sides, customer journey and employee journey. It's not what does the company get? No, what do you get out of this picture of success? How does this apply to your role, your job, your life, whatever that is? It's not just about the company's version of success or the client's version of success. It's about the people. And then also, what are these people naturally thinking? They're nervous. We've disrupted their their order, if you will, Sean.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we're saying we're going to change things. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, those are common, and it's very easy for those to creep in. So you get ahead of that and you pre-think of solutions or pre-handle any potential disasters. So this would be easiest way to think about it would be FAQs on a website, the frequently asked questions. You get ahead of that stuff and say, okay, I'm sure you're thinking this could go wrong or this could look different. Here's how we're going to manage that. Here's what's going to happen if that comes up. If you can prepare what the steps are, project what success looks like, and pre-handle any potential disasters, you get people back into their state of calm and basically eliminate the chaos that could be happening in their brains. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
How do
That's
you feel
right.
about the three-piece?
I feel good. I was especially thinking now about, yes, process for us, we call order. Process creates order. I operate seeking a state of order based on our partner Waze technology at HumanOp and their magical, mystical component of who I am in the world. And isn't it funny that it's all order, order, order? Checks out everywhere. Synchronicity is God's way of saying, wake up. Great. So beautiful. All in alignment. That's what I think. No, I think it's great. It's a great model that he has. Let's get to the end, though, Brandon. Let's make it a word.
The E, ape,
Yes.
ape sandwich. The E is where most people start. So if you remember when I said leaders come back, they're excited, they blow things up. The E stands for excite. So when you start with that, what typically happens is everything we said before. There's chaos, there's uncertainty, there's doubt and fear. But when you go through those first four steps, the A, P, 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 and then you get to excite, you've basically said you leveled the playing field. You got people back to where they need to be, their normal, calm human state. And now we can excite, because when you go right to excite, you actually you exaggerate whatever emotion they're currently feeling. So if they don't like change, that emotion is fear or uncertainty, whatever that is. It's a negative emotion. If you try to excite them, you could really just say elevate. You elevate that current emotion. When we can calm them and get them on board, get the buy-in, now you can elevate the emotion of positivity, which is, it could be excite, it could be fun, it could be, I don't know any other words off the top of my head. I have a very limited vocabulary because I too am an ape, but that's okay.
Stick to the hits. You know, it
Yeah.
makes me think, and you know how this is true because
George said it, so it's true.
one of the reasons, yes. Also, the reason I was going for was that it's true. We have a saying, right, that truth, truth because you can find it anywhere. If it's true here, it must also be true here in the world. And if it's not, then this really isn't true. It's some contextualized, normalized kind of thing, but it's not true. Right? So that's why we talk about music is true everywhere. The progression of energies is true. You don't go on the first date and ask her to marry you because the energy's off. What is this? It's a little weird, right? We just met. So it's the same thing that we're talking about here. When you hit with the wrong energy, Brandon, before we went to this conference, we were talking about speaking from stage and how you move an audience from one thing to the next, how you give them the emotive experience that you're looking for, that they're looking to have, and then you have to provide, which is how you come off as a good speaker. That just like when we watch one of my favorite Prince concerts, he moved the audience from a place of, hey, we're listening to music, all of a sudden to they themselves being the very orchestra he was playing in a masterful way, always acknowledging the little ebbs and flows of energy along the way. So I love that George is acknowledging the natural state of things. This is how you know the model works, is when the model shouldn't be cramming ideas into an acronym. That's the wrong way to have. That's how you get eye-rolling acronyms. But it's not how we got harmonious, right? It's not how we got this. Being the shit is a good model for being authentic. All right. But that is how that is an example of we're trying to be clever with something, cute with something for to elicit a laugh. But if you're looking at the actual true order of the world, saying this is how it's showing up, and then the stages of it, when they spell something that is describing what you're seeing, that's how you get an acronym like Harmonious or APE, whatever. So, and those are the acronyms we love. Those are the models we love because they're a useful tool for the world. No model, the map is never the territory. No model is reality, but these are very helpful tools for us to make sense of the cosmic chaos all around us. So I like it. Well done, George Bryant. Well done, TFP, the final percent, for helping us meet George and hearing his brilliant talk. Brandon, where are we? What are we doing?
I have no idea. I was hoping you knew. But that's enough of this episode. Thank you, George. Thank you for the ape sandwich. I hope that helps. Use it for your customer journey too. Like I said, everything George is down below. Also links to Human Op. We've mentioned them last week. We mentioned them this week. We heart Human Op over here at What If. So go check out all of that stuff. Go check out the final percent. They are also down below. Maybe we'll see you at the next event for the final percent. That's a lot of rhyming. Anywho, this has been awesome. Sean, we will see you next time on the Ether.